morning, interwebs!
It's out of focus still. Hold on, I'll let you do it though. Good morning, interwebs. It is about 1:47. You know,
morning.
But I've been working on packing for California. Figured out what I'm gonna like wear on the train, and working on packing my carry-ons and stuff and my suitcases, and figuring out what projects to bring and what kind of work I need to get done while I'm there, so what I need to bring. And Steve has been hard at work in here.
Ouch.
And hurting himself, apparently.
Well, I was hard at work, so I banged my hard head into the hard shelf. Hard.
So there is the water filter. The water's all run to it, and it even runs, basically we use the water filter because we're on a well, and while we have a water softener, which takes care of some of the mineral related issues, it does not remove the nitrates that are in our water from being in an agricultural area. But that filter, a Berkey filter, is the only one that will. So we run our drinking water and all the water I use to cook through the Berkey to get out a bunch of the bad junk. And then we just use like normal water to wash our dishes and stuff. But it all runs through the water softener before, though the water in the filter doesn't. But everything is filtered in some form. And it all works now, and Steve has installed the countertop. He cut it out today. That's the piece on the floor. What did you lose this time?
The trap. It trapped me into losing it. It
trapped you. I don't see it. We've had a lot of losing things today. Like our minds, there mostly.
Trapped you.
There's the trap. So Steve he cut out the hole for the sink, installed the sink, everything's all fixed in place. The backsplash is drying right now. All the pipes are drying, and now he's putting the trap in. So hopefully there'll be water to this area soon-ish. I'm in the process of making lunch. I'm making some more like tomatoed rice because the kids requested it, and I'm gonna make some sausage, I think, today to put on top of it, make some more little like rice bowl type things. That is the sausage telling me it's done defrosting. This is where the sink used to be and is no longer. Habits die hard though, because I've already tried to come in here several times and place something in the sink. There's no sink there. So our kitchen is a mess. Our new kitchen is a mess. Our parlor is a mess. Our life is kind of a mess. But it will all be less messy soon-ish. And it's not for a lack of things to do. It needs to defrost some more. Yeah, so that's kind of how our day is going. A little chaotic, a little busy. It is, I think, finally starting to precipitate outside. You know, the big, scary ice storm has not happened really yet. And Steve said 2 of the 3 roads he drives on to get home from work were really not bad at all. Now, the road leading to our house was terrible. He said he had to drive like 10 miles an hour, and even then, there was acceleration when you weren't expecting it. And he drove our truck, so he had 4-wheel drive and a big heavy car instead of taking the minivan, which obviously does not have 4-wheel drive and is a much lighter vehicle. So he was safe. He just, you know, it was not ideal circumstances, but our starting to get a little more slick out there. I guess our puddles are starting to fill in. There is a little rain, and it's kind of funny. I'm curious to see how the ice builds on our pile of junk. We'll see. It is 4 o'clock, and Steve and I just finished filming some Q&A stuff and other things, and then it all took longer than I thought it would, and Steve got to see the joys of the memory card filling, and also, oh, the other thing that took a while was my camera just shuts off after a certain point, because when you ramble like I ramble, you know. So we did that, and now I need to go and film the tutorial for my next pattern. So that's my plan, to try and get that done, hopefully before the kids wake up from their rest, because I really, really need the house quiet while I do it. Then we'll see what the evening brings. probably some bill paying. I realized that I had this grand plan of going to the bank tomorrow and stuff, and I also need to go and get a few things at Walmart for my trip when I take my daughter to dance. Well, I won't be going to the bank because it's Martin Luther King Day. The bank is going to be closed, so I can't cash the checks I'd planned on cashing. Yeah. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. I mean, I have cash on hand. I just need to move some things around to make that work. But I was going to leave, you know, set the whole budget up. Steve just got paid, so I could set everything up so that he had, you know, all the monies and all the places that I usually take care of while I'm gone. But that won't be the way it goes. And I was just looking at this tree out here. It is getting all ice covered. Let's see if we zoom in. Can you see it? There we go. The ice is beginning. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. It is time to go over my squeaky wheels for the week. Now, I didn't do as well as I would have hoped, but I definitely was more cognizant of the choices I was making based on this list. And there were several things I did where I'd even tell the kids, this is my squeaky wheel, I've got to work on it. You know, you got to grease that squeaky wheel so that it stops nagging at you. So I'm going to go through what I did this week and then give you my squeaky wheel goals for week 2. So, as far as our house, I wanted to have all the dishes done in the kitchen. And I kept kind of like making attempts at it, and because of various things moving around, it did not happen until tonight. Yes, everything is washed right now, and that is because the new sink was installed today. I had no hot water though, but I did not let that stop me because I wanted to complete the squeaky wheel. So I actually put several pans of water on the wood stove and let them heat that way, and then added cold water from the sink, soap, you know, washed them, and then I just rinsed everything in cold water. And that worked out just fine. My daughter helped me dry. We got through everything. So that also includes I emptied out all of the food in my fridge that was bad, of which there was way more than I was happy with. So I had a lot of containers to wash, which is good. At least now I have more clean containers. So when I send meals to work with Steve, I have an option again of what to send them in. He got some things in weird containers recently, like a lidded measuring cup a couple of nights. One day I sent him scrambled eggs and biscuits in a glass measuring cup that had a lid on it, and he said he didn't figure out he had eggs till like 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, because he'd been like eating his biscuits and he was full because we'd had a big lunch, so it wasn't a big deal. But he got to, you know, kind of the morning, and he went to pick up the second piece of biscuit that was in there, and he's eating it, and he went, hey, there's eggs in the bottom. So hopefully things will be a little less weird now that I have all the dishes done. The second area is our schooling, where I wanted to reinstitute our Brave Rider lifestyle. We did kind of fair to middling on that. We did more music stuff. We did tea time, but actually kind of split up. Like the tea time and the poems were kind of not synced, but I think that was fine. And then we did make an effort to watch a movie. We watched Lilo and Stitch, which the kids really enjoyed and I enjoyed and we talked about, and that was good. Then as far as the area of Steve, I wanted to hang out with him, specifically hang out for 3 days. We didn't necessarily hang out and like watch shows or do anything like fun, though today we did film a Q&A, so that was fun. But we did a lot of conversing this week in our little bit of interim time between the kids going to rest and him going to sleep. We were just very busy, and that was fine. Our schedule kept running really late all week this week, in part because I didn't wake up as early as I would have liked because I was staying up too late, and I also kept ending up with a kid in bed with me, and if I get up in the morning, the kids usually wake up if they're in bed with me. So, you know, you're always kind of walking that line of how long do I stay here to not make it chaotic, whatever. Plus, it was so cozy in bed, and it was been so cold. But our house is, like, heated up now, and the wood stove is doing a good job of kind of maintaining that temperature, especially because I've been putting wood on it, like, right before I go to bed, and going to bed so late means that that wood is on later, so it burns longer, and it's nicer in the morning, which is good. So, yeah. So, Steve and I didn't watch a lot of shows, which isn't necessarily bad for us. It just, you know, is different than what I'd hoped, but we got a lot accomplished in our little conversational bits, so that is good. As far as self-care for myself, I wanted to do 15 minutes of copy work a day, and that involved copying poems out of actually this book, Poem a Day, which I am really enjoying this book. Most I am enjoying, at the bottom of every page, there is like a description about the poet and either the significance of the story. A lot of the, not story, of like the poem. A lot of the poems are selected because either the person was born on or died on that particular day, or there's some special thing about that date in history that pertains to the poem. So that's been interesting. I copied 6 poems this week, and I did it over 3 days. One day I actually did the most. I don't know, I just sat down and it was really enjoyable, and it was working out in our schedule, and just took a little breather and did a lot of writing, and it was pleasant. So, you know, I didn't do it every day, but I made an effort, and I didn't feel guilty when I was doing it because I was following through on a goal by doing it. So it was like I had assigned it and I did it. So assigning myself things that are fun is not necessarily a bad thing. As far as the kids, I wanted to read them 4 books that were outside of our normal rotation every day. I made a little stack and kept it of everything that we read that was outside of our normal rotation. This is 22 books. If we did 4 a day for the entire week, we could have been at 28 books. So 22 out of 28, not too shabby. The days that it didn't, like I said, our schedule kept running late, so we ran into some behavior issues because of timing, and just like everyone being pooped a couple of times, so we either didn't read all 4 or whatever. And that was just poor planning on my part too. I needed to not do it so late in the day. But I just didn't always think about it earlier, and our mornings tend to fill up. Okay, the 6th area is our food. I wanted to meal plan. I did meal plan, and I stuck to making meals from the plan, not at the times they were scheduled. Except, I did good for lunches. Like, we had good, filling homemade lunches every day this week. Our big meal was definitely lunch. But that meant no one was hungry for dinner. As soon as the kids wake up from rest time, they always wanted a snack, and they'd eat a snack, and then they'd be full. And so we had, like, kind of weird, snacky dinners. So I need to work on figuring out light dinners to go with those, like, heavy lunches. Because I actually do think that is the best way for us to eat. I just need to figure out how to make that work long term. Because I'm not happy with what we've been eating for dinner, necessarily, like, as an everyday thing. But, yeah, the lunches were good, and having the plan helped. The last area was family, and I wanted to send out thank you notes for all of our Christmas presents. Big fail. No attempt. I put it on the schedule for the week. It just didn't happen because, I don't know, life happened instead. I was working on stuff that I need to get done to have ready to, you know, send out while I'm in California. And Steve has been just pedal to the metal on the kitchen and the weather and the kids, and anyways, it was a big fail, and we will just try again another time, like probably when I get back from California. So Kendra from the future here. Yeah, my battery died last night while I was in the middle of telling you all my squeaky wheels. It just squeaked the loudest, and I had to go and plug it in. And then I was working on editing my tutorial, and what do you know? I fell asleep during the editing process. For your information, it's very difficult to make small tweaks to a tutorial when you're falling asleep mid-clips. Yeah, that's what happened. So I decided to just go to bed. But I wanted to run you through the squeaky wheels for this week. So for our house, I want to clear off my desk and all my things in the parlor here, and also off the new kitchen table where I have tutorial stuff laid out. I want to clean all that off so that Steve has a nice clean space to be in while I'm gone. I haven't mentioned it yet, my entire set of this week, their squeaky wheels, will be done while I'm in California. I'm leaving at 3 o'clock Tuesday morning, so there's a little bit of time today for me to do some things around here, but the majority of my week will be spent on a train and at my parents'. Okay, as far as school, I would like to leave 3 things for each kid to do while I'm gone. Kind of a bit of homework, but like fun homework, just some stuff for them to do. Number 1, it'll give Steve something supplemental to like fill in some time that I would usually account for in their lives. And, yeah, it'll just keep things kind of rolling. Also help us get a little bit more back into the groove, which I want to hit full force when I get home. The third area is Steve. I like to try and text him a few times a day while I'm gone so that, like, I can still talk to him. And texting is fun. I used to, for a while he was not dispatching. For a while he was, like, doing some deputy work. And so he'd be sitting in a car for several hours in the morning, and we'd text back and forth, and that was fun. So, I shall do that. My fourth area is self-care, so things about me. I'm going to not feel guilty about going on my trip, even though I kind of feel a little guilty about going on my trip. The fifth area is the kids. I want to continue reading The Great Turkey Walk to them, even though I'm not physically here. So I'm bringing the book with me, and I can read it either over the phone or via Skype or something, read them, you know, at least part of a chapter every day, so we can kind of keep up a bit of that routine. Not to mention, I want to know what happens to Simon and his turkeys. The sixth area is food. I would like to make a meal for, like, lunch or dinner today that leaves leftovers. So I'm going to throw a roast or maybe even two into the crock pot this morning and let them cook, so there'll be some meat that Steve can do things with, and, you know, we'll have leftovers. I might also take some of it with me on the train to make sandwiches. Then the seventh and final category of squeaky wheels is my family. And what we do together as a family. Well, that is difficult when I am not physically here, which is part of the reason why we're so into being physically together, because it makes everything easier. But I would like to try and Skype at least 4 days that I am gone. So that way I can see everybody, because I know I'm going to be the one that's the most annoyed and upset about the whole thing, I'm sure. Woo! There's Steve!
Sorry. Were you vlogging?
Uh-huh!
Hello!
After that interruption, there's a door next to you, and Steve came in with wood. Anyways, I'd like to try and Skype at least 4 days. Those are my squeaky wheels. I got a few responses about what yours were. Most people, I think, are looking at, like, health and that sort of thing, which I considered some of those in various areas, but we will get on that when I get back, because this is a week of fun and eating whatever I want and just hanging out. And so that doesn't really lend itself to being, like, on program. So, I will talk to you all later in today. Nighty-night!